There's one gestural that's just sitting in a fire. Did you come across that gestural? He's in his room, or in his little cove inside a tree, and it's just on fire, and he's sitting in the middle of it.
Gestural Village is huge. It took me a while to get around the entire place.
Yeah, but you go speak to this gestural in the fire, and do you know what it's like? What he says?
I know. This is fine.
Yes, yes, he does. He says this is fine. It's literally a freaking meme within the game. It's just this is fine.
Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of everyone's favorite podcast, the Critical Arcade Podcast. I'm your co-host, Nick.
And I'm Dave.
Hello, Dave.
Hello, Nick. Are you well?
No, I'm traumatized. Ha ha!
Wow, just pure trauma dumping right at the beginning of the... Why are you traumatized, Nick?
You know exactly, because you're also traumatized. Much like, I think it's... Is it 2? No, it can't be 2 million... other players.
No. Are we talking
I think
about...
it's 1.5 million other players.
Yes, I think so, yeah.
Yeah. 1.5 million other players are also equally as traumatized as we are.
Why is that, Nick? Why are we traumatized?
Goodness. I don't think... The game for this week is something that came out of left field.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. You're right.
It's great. It came out of nowhere for most people, and all of a sudden, it's just this one big, sad atomic bomb disrupting the video game industry. And yes, I love it as well. Good. It's so tasty.
I'm sure everybody knows the game we're talking about now because everybody's talking about this game that came out of nowhere and is just pure fun and delightfulness. It's okay. I'm going to say this wrong. Is it Clair Obscur?
I don't know.
Right.
It must
Clair
be.
Obscur
It must be. We can just say Clair Obscur.
Okay, Clair Obscur. Expedition 33. Which, I found out, Clair Obscur is actually a technique in painting, referring the contrast between light and dark.
Is that what it is? Is that what it is?
Yes, because I looked hard, and first I saw someone say it was Twilight, but it's It's the technique, I think, found mostly in like oil paintings and stuff like that, in regards to adding light and darkness to a painting to show emotion and stuff like that.
Which is very fitting for this game.
Yeah, it's like super fitting, which this game has a lot of painting references in it, by all accounts, right?
Painting. I just go for general art. There's just so much art being referenced, art being made, but we can get into all of that in the categories. I mentioned earlier this game came out of left field.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few select of us that saw this game for when it was revealed and have not forgotten it since.
Oh, okay.
I think, Dave, you're first in line with in this crowd. You saw this game and you kept on telling me, Nick, this game, Expedition 33, you need to keep your eyes on this.
But yeah, it's one of those things because, as you know, I'm a big JRPG type, and of course, turn-based combat, I'm there. But there was one thing about this game I don't think you ever played. Did you ever play Lost Odyssey? I can't remember if you said yes or no to that.
No. Is that
Lost Odyssey was a Microsoft exclusive JRPG about what was it? He was
when was this?
A mortal guy who just went through life in wars and stuff like that, but couldn't die, and then kind of got the same kind of morbid start to the story because he can't die, and so everybody else around him is dying.
When was this? When did this game release?
Oh, a long time ago now, 2000 and whenever the Xbox was popular, 2000 and Xbox.
The original Xbox?
No, Xbox 360. It was definitely
okay,
Xbox
360. All right.
But this has, and it's got that same vibe. And as soon as I saw the trailer for this, I could see, because again, Lost Odyssey has those little prompts when you attack that this game also comes into play. And there's something very adult about Lost Odyssey and the subject matter, and then of course the JRPG element. And the trailer had that exact same feel. It's such a grown up idea.
Yes.
It isn't save the world from evil god or something like that. It's just pure like tragedy and drama. Just at the same, and then how do you fix it?
It's
And
so. I know exactly what you mean. This isn't. We can get into the narrative in narrative, but this I wouldn't say it's a game made or aimed for children or maybe even teenagers. There's an extremely mature tone to the narrative of this,
which is like, and it's just so much better, like you said, that it came out of nowhere.
Yes,
because we're being fed so much just crap and gacha and just follow this storyline and go through all the content that we put in there without
do it. Follow the objective diamond and you'll win the game. Confetti.
Yeah, exactly. And then again, it's one of those scenarios where it's so rare that it seems that all the pieces came together. Because even I was looking at the developer, Sandfalls Interactive, which most people are talking about now. They only founded in 2020 in France. That's quite a young company, and this is their first game.
Yes,
right, which is crazy. But I do love the idea that it took them 5 years. Right, that's the duration of making a good game. Not making it every year, pumping out Assassin's Creeds and stuff like that. Actually, granted, it's hard to fund a game with that type of development time. That's a lot of money. But to do it slowly and just it's like you said, this is almost art in every way. The art of just doing that. And it was funny, I was looking at the team of 30, and 12 of them are Ubisoft ex-developers, which kind of explains why Ubisoft is kind of crap now. Do you wonder if they just... Yeah, did they all just leave because they also saw the same thing? That the industry's kind of...
You know what it is? Ubisoft's just a factory. All that's in there is just this production line. This person puts on the arm. This person turns the wheel. There's no creativity. You know this. It's just one big production line in a factory pumping out mediocre game after mediocre game with bloated marketing budgets. And these people were sick of it.
But I loved it. This game... Again, my first sentence, it makes you excited again.
Yes.
This game, we've always done this discussion about gaming being an art form and expression and all these other things. And we've been eating or finding all the good bits in kind of crap games. And then you get a game that's just like, look, there are people out there that, that agree.
Yes, there are people that get it. There are people with big budgets, teams, and the know-how that get it. This
exactly.
This proves our point. That the fact that this game exists.
Yeah, this game, again, is just such an amalgamation of just really talented people. The lead writer, I'm going to say her name wrong, but it's Jennifer Svenberg Yen, which is a good combination. She wrote for The Wheel of Time, the book series, and the TV program. The Expanse, the Amazon sci-fi drama.
Oh, hell yeah, that's apparently quite good.
Battlestar Galactica, which is a classic kind of old sci-fi. And she is now writing the new Project W for Sandfall, I believe. Which, again, the pedigree of somebody who has that industry experience and stuff, coming into a 2020 founded studio in the middle of France and with all these new ex-developers. It's crazy all these people came into one spot and just seemed to meld together and form this.
You're right.
You're
right.
This game, as of course in a commercial success, it's selling over millions of 1 million units in 3 days of release. Mm-hmm. Which I know in today's standard, people say, that's so many units in 3 days. That's crazy. Again, for a new developer, that's mad. And it's just exciting. Go on.
Do you think Expedition 33 could be Game of the Year?
I think it's going to be. I think it'd be... well, it's hard to say because the year's not finished, but I'd be amazed. It would have to be, you know, it's one of those double eclipse or whatever. How is another game going to release that's, you know, that good? It's not like another Elden Ring would have to come out, or another... I can only think of Elden Ring. Mass Effect, like Mass Effect 1 come out. It just seems so unlikely. If this is definitely up there, if this isn't put up as a contender, then we know the industry is kind of just dead. If this doesn't get pushed right to the front, it'd be insane.
I agree with you. This is definitely going to be up there.
Yeah.
And I would very much like for this to win as well. I really would. If this can take the top spot away from some safe AAA
Yeah, exactly.
corporate investment, I would be ecstatic. Although we have some big hitters this year still coming.
Which ones?
Judas,
Oh yes, the Konami whatnot. Yeah.
Ghost of Yotei.
I've seen some gameplay of that. The story's going to have to be great because
Very
it kind
true.
of just looks like rinse and
It
repeat.
is.
But that's
Although
just,
they've
I
been
understand.
cooking this since the release of Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, that's very true. Very true. And that's a great
Not
game.
so sure about Mafia: The Old Country, Metal Gear Solid Delta. Death Stranding 2. There are a couple of good ones, but
Yeah, but my gut is telling me this will win. I hope this wins.
I
it's
hope
got
so
that
as well.
fairy
I
tale
really,
aspect
really
to
hope
it,
so.
doesn't it?
It does.
Did you
I
know that
really hope so.
this is there's already been announced a live action adaptation of the game?
What?
I know, yeah, it's already been picked up by something called
Whoa!
Story Kitchen. Yeah,
Wow.
it instantly, and even you gotta just keep going down the rabbit hole. Even the president of France, Emmanuel Macron, even suggested how it's a shining example of French audacity and creativity. They even got like a shout out by the president of France. Now, granted, he's not the most likable person, but the idea that even France said yes, this is a great game.
This is great. This is good.
That's just so crazy.
Yes, please. Let's just for a quick moment compare this to the Japanese government being very dissatisfied with Assassin's Creed Shadows and the fact that you can destroy shrines.
Yeah, that's crazy. And again, Ubisoft.
The difference.
That's
You're
why
right.
these ex-developers
You're right.
seem to move, right?
Ladies and gents, if it sounds like we're bashing on Ubisoft, we are.
We are.
Ubisoft sucks.
Yeah, we are. So if you were unsure that we were, let's just reaffirm that we most definitely are. Because, the way they're going, and again, I just love the idea that so many people just left because... And I just like the idea that the talent's gone now and Ubisoft. I'm sure there's lots of talented people at Ubisoft and they know what they're doing, but I just like the idea that
I just
those
don't
special
agree with...
one or two left and like, let's make our own studio and let's
I don't
do
know.
this.
I don't agree with the way that they go about making games with a committee, with executives making decisions, just one big factory with a production line. That's where creativity goes to die.
Yeah, that's what Sven said from Baldur's Gate, right? Sven, whatever his surname.
Sven Vinky.
He said he came to points in the development of Baldur's Gate 3 where people were just pushing the loot bot angle or the microtransactions angle, and he could see the suits being involved in the creativity instead of being involved in the marketing and the product development and stuff like that. Their side, they were definitely spilling over to.
Come on.
Yeah, crossing the line, which is...
We've reviewed a couple of games on this show where it's so extremely clear that this was pushed by suits and no one else.
Yeah, just Suicide Squad.
It's so clear. Exactly. And I'm very thankful we didn't even get, what was Concord to review.
Yeah, no doubt. Concord is
just suits
a masterpiece in
game.
its own other right. It's a masterpiece on the other side of the other side of the chart. It's just bizarre. Anyway, should we jump into a narrative?
Let's. I was just about to say we've been going for quite a while. Let's get started. The narrative.
Now, again, it's so French. it's so funny to say it because this is I even looked when playing this game what other French games were out there because I was thinking this. You said it once to me as well. This is the most French game that you've ever played.
That's it. That's
exactly.
Not a bad thing. You asked me was this the greatest intro you've played, and I said greatest isn't the word. No. Frenchest might be.
And I was just trying to think what other games. Ubisoft, of course, has got quite a big French development team and stuff like behind it. But the only other game I think was developed in France was I've forgotten what it's called. A Disco Elysium, I think was made in France.
Was that France? Was that French?
Yeah, because it's also set in a French city, I believe. But I haven't
That
played
makes
game in a
sense.
long time.
I didn't know Zaum was a
Yeah, I was
French
at the God.
studio.
You remember the company names? Damn it.
Yes, Zaum doesn't
Jeez.
exist anymore.
Oh, they got absorbed, didn't they? By
No,
another company?
they got broken up into just creative differences. Or Zaum still exists, but the leaders, the game designers and creators of Disco Elysium went and made their own thing.
Oh, okay. Like
You'd
most people
be
do nowadays.
surprised the amount of politics
I can-
behind Disco Elysium's creation.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Yes.
Oh, I must
There's a
be
big
for another
legal
episode.
battle on who owns the rights for Disco Elysium or who
Oh,
wants to
wow.
do something. Anyway, that's not.
Anyway,
that's not
a brief
this.
synopsis. Clair Obscur Exposition 33 takes place in the dark fantasy, I'm going to say this wrong, Bella Poke. I'm going to say it wrong.
What?
Setting,
I've never
which
heard that.
I had to look that up again. I had to look what Belle Espoque was. It's kind of like a part of Paris and France where between two wars, they were kind of like optimistic. It was kind of like a nice time of French history where war had finished. They thought it was all over, and then kind of World War One started. So it was kind of that kind of like happy, sad scenario. This is what this is kind of set in regards to Fantasy Watch. And then every year for the past 67 years, the people of the isolated island of Luminaire, which means light in French,
Lumière.
which has suffered the event called the Gommage.
The gommage. That's right.
It's so hard. It's so hard not to try and just do full-on French accents, even if we're bad. Which, of course, means erase in French, i.e. that's why they do the whole Thanos disappearing act. Where a goddess known as the Paintress, which I thought, again, was such a fun play on words, because it's Paintress.
Oh.
Did you notice that in the game? They did that on purpose because it's pain and it causes they all disappear. It makes it very sad. They do that on purpose. That's so crazy.
I didn't even notice.
Yep. And every year she paints a ever decreasing number, and all humans at that age or above just they disappear, and the people of Luminaire send out an expedition of volunteers to the mainland to try and stop the Paintress from changing the number lower and lower.
Yes.
Which is, again, it's just such a fun idea of like
It is.
any
It's
story, right?
it's so unique. It can only be French.
It's French and it's just arty. And I must admit, this is not a nice word, but it's French. Putain is now part of my vocabulary. I just use it all the time. They always go putain, which is not a good word. It's the F word. Yeah, I know. It's now just part of me now, saying French words in bad situations, because they say it all the time in this. But
my favorite was when Gustave went, "Oh putain le merde."
Yeah, that's why I know the bit you're talking about.
He did both.
And it's one of those fun things because you don't come across it too much. So when you're in like a different world with a different language, and then you kind of get more invested when they're speaking English and French. There's something just there that. It's the same like with Japanese games
and
where you get
and it feels so genuine.
It does.
There's something that it scratches some itch, like watching a foreign movie, even though it's got subtitles, I get from playing this, listening to them talk, that annoys the hell out of me when I'm playing Assassin's Creed Shadows and this very, very Asian man walks to me and says, "Hello."
Yes, I know. The jarringness.
Do you see the river down there?
Yeah. your great accent, by the way.
Thanks.
Your American's doing so well. and there were so many parts in this game, just narratively. I don't know if this is kind of visual as well. Is you don't even notice the painting aspect of the things and the art style. Do you know how long it took me to find out gesturals were paintbrushes? Is it gestural?
Stop it! Oh!
Did you not notice that?
I didn't notice that. Gesturals were paintbrushes?
8 to 9 hours in, and I'm like, wait a minute, they're paintbrushes.
I still
they're
didn't
little
notice
paintbrushes.
that.
Yeah, I was like, whoa,
Wow.
there is so much little detail in every part of this. And the narrative, again, we don't want to spoil it, ladies and gents, because the narrative in this thing is so many bends and twists and shock moments. If we went any further, it's just mean.
Like giving the setting and the setup.
Yeah.
Right? You're playing in Lumiere, you're the volunteer you're playing as is Gustave.
Yeah.
You and all the expeditioners, including Lune, Mayel, and Ciel.
Yeah, okay, you got to... okay, there are more, but yeah.
There are more, that's right. I can't remember their names. You all get to the continent, the mainland, inching ever closer to the Paintress. And that's the setup for this game. The body of this game is just you on the continent, making your way to the Paintress, and then things happen.
Yeah, and you're trying to save your comrades in Luminaire from dying at 32, and then 31, and because the inevitableness that number will get too low soon, that nobody will be grown up enough to go on an expedition, right? So as soon as it hits like 17 or 16, they're done. So it's not even 33 years or anything. It's only the next like 10 years they've got to do it. So there's as each expedition goes on, the pressure of succeeding just compounds. It's again,
Absolutely.
the writing in it is so clever. It's such a clever idea and prospect.
I just realized everyone on Expedition 33, or the majority, this is their final year.
Yes, that's right.
They kept saying that, but I only just realized that means they're on the clock.
Yeah, that's right. They are 32 years old, right? They would have to be
if
32,
they don't make
right?
it to the Paintress within a year,
yes, they all get erased.
they'll get gommaged.
Yeah, sorry, gommaged, yeah.
I just realized that.
Yeah, no, it adds another tension to everything. This isn't one of those missions, and every expedition before that, this was one of those one-way type of mission scenarios. This isn't one where, what was their saying? When one falls, the others keep going, or something like that. So
Something
they generally
like that.
expect to die, right?
Yeah, for those before and those after.
Yeah, so it's
like
bleak. The start of this game starts off bleak as the game rolls out. It's actually kind of bleak.
Everyone understands this is a one-way trip.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
This is in all meaning, in all essence of the term, a suicide mission.
Yes, exactly. This is one of those ones you're going to die, but you're going to save your people.
Yeah.
And again, the twists and turns later on are just meant are madness. It's not one of those ones, you watch everything and then you say, you've already started the game and you're like, oh, I know he's the bad guy. Or, okay, yeah, he's the bad guy. It's just going to be a simple good versus evil. There's so many little nuanced twists in here.
It even starts at the beginning of the game. You think you suspect something, and you suspect it even more because the game's not acknowledging your suspicion.
Yeah, exactly.
Which,
no, exactly. It builds,
in every single other case, means you're right.
Yeah.
Here, no. It knows you're suspecting it.
Yeah.
It still doesn't say anything, and then pulls the rug out from under you.
And then just leaves you with just more questions. Like, why has this guy got no face?
So,
and what's this thing here? No doubt.
What I really like about this game, we've been trying to say this, it's not afraid to tell an actual story.
Yes, agreed.
A real story with a setup, development, ending, or conclusion. But I think what I'm trying to say is I'm starting to really dislike stories that are very video gamey.
Yeah, okay. As in, not aimed at the more mature, older crowd, right?
Not just that, but games that think they're telling a story, but it's really just you're a person that's hunting down the bad guys, and you win the bad guys, and you're the hero. Good job. The end.
It's like one of those. It's those games where you start playing and you read all their text and you go through the cutscenes for the first 30 to 40%, and then when you get to the 50 and 70, you just start skipping, and like, come on, it's they're those games where you go, oh, I've got to finish this now. I can't stop because I'm bored. I have to finish it because you know you're 70% of the way through and you have to make it 100 now, but you're not actually enjoying the development of the story itself. You're just I gotta get through. I gotta make it to the end. And this game, as
totally,
everybody else is saying, is completely different.
It is.
I know
yes.
that Penguin Zero, Charlie, or whatever his name is, he could not stop playing this game. He could not.
I totally
put
get
down.
it. If I didn't have a day job, if my day job was playing games, I wouldn't stop by them.
From beginning to finish, no doubt, and get paid millions for it. Damn you, Charlie.
We'll get there.
Yeah, no doubt. Anything else narratively you want to say?
Yes. Jesus. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
The only other game story that I enjoyed as much as this one from recent memory would be Metaphor.
Yes, yeah, I can see that because again, it's another adult kind of storyline to it, right?
It's a good storyline that kind of treats you as someone invested in the story that they're trying to tell. It's not just I've no other I've no other word to describe the stories that we're kind of getting in games other than video gamey.
No, I got you. Like like BioShock being memorable for its story. There's a very few games,
or at least
in the
just
last
twist.
few years, that you can say, "Oh, the story on this is great."
I'm gonna say this
Metaphor.
again. I'm gonna say this again, but only because it fits so well. The stories in Assassin's Creed is just so shallow.
I have no idea what's going on in Assassin's Creed.
Nobody does, because
there was an Adam's
nobody
apple.
cares.
There
Nobody
were flashbacks
cares.
of Adam and Eve, and I have no idea what's going on.
that became too deep, so they stopped it. Now you're just a Viking in England. That's the story. You know how that game ends?
No, I don't actually. It was too long.
You're still a Viking in England. That's it.
But there is that whole weird thing in Odyssey. You play the gladiator type man or female, and then I remember, Odyssey. Which one? And then she kind of is eternal or something, and then you meet her in one of the other Assassin's Creed games, which I never quite understood. There is still an underpinning story to it.
Oh, I think you're right.
I don't think anyone understands. I'd be damned if you could find anyone that's actually following it. I'm not.
Do you not think that that's teetering on the continuous storyline?
Oh yeah.
With no end in sight.
Agreed. Like an MMO,
because the suits demand
like Final Fantasy Online and stuff like that, where you just keep adding bits of story to develop the next game.
These gacha games. I think the story just keeps going and going and going
agreed.
with new game and new game because the suits demand it.
Yes, of course. Assassin's Creed, it still or was historically one of the biggest earning games of all time. The series. I don't know if it still is, but I know it made buckets of cash.
Yes.
From up to like Assassin's Creed Brotherhood and Revelations and stuff like that, it was still making massive amounts of money.
It's unfortunate. I'm not surprised. Okay, if you like Assassin's Creed, I'm glad you found your type of game. It's not mine or Dave's.
No. It's good gameplay. The first three are not too bad, but yeah, it definitely does start to just drag out and taper out, and you're just like, what am I doing anymore?
Okay. It feels like we're talking more about
I know about Assassin's Creed and other games. Anything else?
I'm now going to commit to not talking about Assassin's Creed for the rest of the episode.
Perfect. There you go. And I'm going to keep you to that. If you even mention Altair or...
Not going to happen. Not going to happen.
The other one. Ezio. There, I see. I only remember the original ones. I don't know the other ones. Okay, what do you think of the visuals of this game?
I'm not done with narrative.
Good God, Matt! Go on.
My favorite part of the narrative, with everything included, which everything is top notch, but my favorite part of the narrative of this game is easily the dialogue.
Okay, yeah.
The dialogue, not because it's profound, not because the dialogue is... There are excellent lines. There are excellent lines. It's a bit profound sometimes as well, but because it feels so exceptionally real.
And human, right? It's got like a human aspect to it. Yeah.
This wasn't written by a committee, which a lot of games are. This was written by people who went out of the way to make sure that these conversations feel genuine.
Yeah, no, exactly. There's that one scene where you're just throwing rocks with Mael.
Yes.
And they kind of just joke about it, saying that's a good one, and he said that's a great one, and there's the banter, the human banter that you talk about when you're feeling
feels so
lonely.
real.
Yeah,
Whereas if this was in any other AAA game, it would have been, you say a line, you say a line,
it's like
you
filling
counter
a
that line, you say a
that's
profound
right.
line, music.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. That's the exact stuff I was talking about. That you just press X through. You're just trying to get. You're just going to get
absolutely.
through it because you just know they're just talking about something that really isn't relevant. So you just go. I don't know. Okay, done. And
This is
agreed.
not that.
This is not
This
that.
is
Every
not
single
that.
conversation, like you said, there's vulnerability. There's power. There's frustration. There's despair. As I'm sure you know in a lot of those conversations, especially at the beginning. It is human. It's human writing done by humans for humans. It's
well
very
done.
feeling.
So well done.
It is.
I have more, but we can go on to visuals.
Like the same. We're gonna get. And this game, it's one of those things about this game, and you can't stress it enough. It is such a rarity. It's very hard not to continue talking about it, right?
Yes.
Because
I'd love to continue talking about this, especially the narrative, but no, we need to continue. We're half an hour in.
Okay, visuals. It's quite interesting during the development of this game. They started off in Unreal Engine 4, and then just because again we've all seen what Unreal Engine 5 can now do, and the aspects of light and dark in regards to the palette you can use in Unreal 5, so they had to redo it. They kind of had to move it across to Unreal 5 and then start and do the light and dark on every single scene again, because it had such a, which is a lot of what, that's a massive undertaking. If you think you made a game fully in one engine and then you decide to move it over to a new one, it's not like you just render it in the new engine
or
or
just
like
copy paste into the new
exactly.
the new application.
This is a big deal, and again, even though this is a new studio, and I know that this studio kind of got funded by the French government to some degree. It got backing because the French government is trying to push French businesses and stuff like that, so they do give you some grants and stuff like that. So this actually had quite a budget to it compared to like an indie developer. And and you can feel it. The new change is beautiful. The change, you can't picture this anything else in the beautiful Unreal 5 and the stuff that it can do.
I wanted to ask you, do you think it was worth it? If this added another year to the development time, where this game could have been released in 2024, but it was an Unreal Engine 4, do you think this was worth it to delay, let's say, a year to have it in Unreal Engine 5?
I say yes. But I am very pro long development times for games. Again, we've discussed this before. We just shoveled so many games in 1 year, just tons of them. I would prefer every game taking 3 years and you just get that slow roll of each releasing in a different month and you just get better games. And so it's like Baldur's Gate 3. I remember seeing the trailer for that and the demo, and then after the demo, it took like 3 years for like the game to actually come out. And they only just finished the final patch for it now, just the other month or so. I can't remember.
I remember that as well.
That's what it's supposed to be like.
Too.
Go on.
I agree. I'd like that too. But our good old friends in suits messed that up big time. Because if you have to spend 5 years to make a game, but the idea is shit, those 5 years were wasted. These talents were thrown in the rubbish. Look at Concord. All the time. Look at, we're seeing it in real time with Marathon.
Yes, exactly. Yes, that's very true. That one started off with so much hype, and then they started showing gameplay and kind of the little aspects of narrative that's in there. And people are starting to be like,
no, we don't want another big old multiplayer
it's crazy
shooter.
It is crazy. Like you said, that feels corporate again. Well, hopefully it's not. It does.
These big multiplayer shooters keep failing.
But and yet people still say single player games are dead. Well, look at this one. It's not multiplayer, is it? I would say we love our tangents. And the visuals of this game, like, I loved the open world you kind of go to, and it's kind of got like that, like, it reminded me of like a tabletop type aspect to it, where you're like the little guy walking around the mountains.
For me, it was a diorama, right? You seemed like this tiny little piece in this big world, but it
Yeah.
felt like it was made on a table. Yes.
Yeah, it says yeah. And again, it makes you it's just the same thing. It kind of makes you feel like you're in a painting, right? It's one of those like if the painting was put down on the table
The
and then you're walking
layers.
amongst it, right?
The layers.
And of course, the gesturals of paintbrushes. Did you see? This made me laugh so much. In the gestural village,
Yeah.
right? There's, you walk around, the village is quite large, so you go around talking to all the gesturals and they give you different conversations and
Yeah.
worries and stuff like that, right? There's one gestural that's just sitting in a fire. Did you come across that gestural? He's in his room or in his little cove inside a tree and it's just on fire and he's sitting in the middle of it.
Gestural Village is huge. It took me a while to get around the entire place.
Yeah, but you go speak to this gestural in the fire and do you know what it's like? What he says?
I know. This is fine.
Yes, yes, he does. He says this is fine. It's literally a freaking meme within the game. It's just this is fine. I love that. It made me smile
really
so
good.
much when I came across it.
Come on! These people know what they're doing, and they've got so much passion that they pour into this. It's obvious. It's so evident.
Did you find you must have seen the picture of the development team that's been going around on social media,
I did, in
right?
the basement of the manor.
Yeah, and then at the mansion, a painted picture of it, which is,
So great.
again, so much
great.
fun to find. And another, again, you wonder with the bank for the money that was in this game. The cutscenes are quite amazing. Like, it's...
Yep.
It almost looks like making video games is easier than it should be. Because how does a developer, how does a small developer, how do you get cutscenes that are so crisp and human and like HD and crystal clear?
Motion capture?
I don't know, but it's so insane.
Do they have mocap for this game?
Say that again?
Do they have mocap for this game?
I'd have said so. The facial features and stuff like that, and the way how human they move about, they must have done, right? Because it is very organic. All the movement. Granted, I don't know how good AI is now and stuff like that, but it's so just. It's insane.
I totally agree.
Again, every time I think about the game and I think about the combination of just all these people being on the same page and they just developed a game.
That's how you make something extraordinary like this. If you can just get everyone on the same page, if you can keep the scope creep in check, no ambitions go unchecked.
Yeah,
just have a vision and then execute on that vision. No more. Yeah, because that's right. What caught Cyberpunk 2077 and No Man's Sky.
Yeah, no, agreed. Exactly.
That's why those things failed initially, and then only afterwards grew into what they were supposed to be.
Yeah, they just wandered off the mission statement, so to speak, right? They just kept,
yes.
No,
Don't.
And it's again, it's. I know, ladies and gents, we're glazing everything about this game, and it is a really great game. But we're relatively old or set in our ways now. You don't see this often in any form of for example, you'd say Peter Jackson with Lord of the Rings, right? Another culmination of great acting, great direction, great landscapes, all came together to make something great.
Yes.
Right? And this is just one of again, that's the last one I can remember. And this is like the next one where something just somehow all the pieces came into play and they all just knocked out tens.
Yes.
We're not even into the audio yet, but everyone knocked it out the park in every little department.
Very, very, very true. And somehow, even then, it's still greater than the sum of its parts.
Like, again, I tell you, you've watched, I forget if it's, Alice in Wonderland, right?
Yes.
Like you've read it or watched the cartoon or the movies, Johnny Depp, right?
That's right.
Again, everything about this is very Alice in Wonderland. The underwater biome, and then there's the forest biome, and then there's the cave with the big, what's the big fat godlike person and his friend the Rock, the grumpy English.
Esquier.
I loved he was English, by the way. The Rock was Englishman, and I don't know why.
Really? Is that why he was so grumpy?
Yeah, I was wondering if that was some sort of dig at English people and just being grumpy and hard and.
Maybe. Well, then Esquier could be a dig on French people because it's a bit of a
He's great though.
He's a bit funny and a bit of a ditz.
I did like that again. The sense of humor in some of the writing in this when the rock, whatever his name is, he says, "And I will be chasing you," and they're like, "Yeah, but you're a rock. You're not moving," and he's just like,
Get out of here!
Get out! His dialogue is he's so trying to be bigger than who he is, and it's just so funny. That again, the writing in this is so spot on so many times, and visually just a lot of fun.
Agreed. There's been a debate going on for quite a while in the entire gaming community on whether studios should focus on graphical fidelity or art direction.
Okay, yeah.
Right? On the one hand, graphical fidelity would be just millions and billions of polygons.
Yeah,
the most expressive faces you've seen.
Yeah.
This face took us 20 years to make. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Call of Duty's, the big old cyberpunks, those types of games that are 300 gigabytes big.
Oh, yes, yeah. No, I got what you mean.
Art direction, something that looks like it was painted. God. Like Hollow Knight. One thing,
Octopath Traveler. I always thought it had like painted vibes, right?
Yes. Octopath Traveler. So the difference between graphical fidelity and art direction is, or it's still a big debate on which one is more important.
Yeah.
I think this game has both.
Yeah, I was about to say. I was just thinking that to myself. I was wondering where you go. They nailed both of them, right?
Yes. That's what I'm trying to get at. They got the graphical fidelity down as well. And by far the art direction as well, which I'm not even surprised.
Yeah, and like I said, it's art direction in both words, the direction and literal the art work that you're kind of in, right? I'm just thinking now. I just realized the landscapes you move across and the mountains and stuff like that. I don't know if I'm just overreaching, but they kind of look like brush strokes now. I just think about it. A lot of the rubble and stuff like you have the. But everything about this setting in regards to the painting, and you feel like that the painting is such a large vibe in this game.
Yeah,
it's hard not to look at everything and see it comes across in all of it. Like the gestures being paintbrushes,
right.
And I feel like everything's an oil painting or a watercolor, and everything you bump into.
Wouldn't even be surprised if it was.
Yes, granted, we haven't completed the game yet. I'm expecting some big revelation that this is just a picture.
I think we're still quite far from the end of this game. I just finished Act 1.
Yeah, I just feel like there's going to be a big ending, and it's going to be just, like I said, you're going to go down and it's going to zoom out, and it's a picture in the Louvre. And there's just like humans walking past it or something like that. That's where my mind goes when playing this game. But that's just me with my crazy imagination.
Horton Hears a Who type vibe.
Yes, yeah, exactly. That type of aspect. Yeah, exactly.
All the Who's are just a speck on this little flower.
And it would be just a big tapestry anyway, in life, so to speak.
Now that you mention it, I don't think there's any coincidence it was made in a country that's had its culture deeply rooted in art.
No, exactly right. Yeah, of course. It's one of the precedents of all art, right?
Yeah,
Fashion,
you mentioned, what did Macron say earlier?
Oh, he said it's a shining example of French audacity and creativity.
See, and I think he's right. Whether we like him or not, he's right.
No, I just love the idea that he had to say something. If you just think that this somehow a video game got to Macron's staff and they said, "Oh, you got to speak about this video game," and he would be like, "What video game?" And then I just love the idea that came out in his. His brief somewhere.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think video games has such a massive reach. As most entertainment really has. I wouldn't be surprised if Macron watches Marvel movies.
Yeah, exactly.
If his kids play games, if he's even played a round or two of Fortnite.
Yeah, that's
I wouldn't be
crazy.
Surprised.
It's hard for me being an old gamer like myself, but you're right. Gaming culture is in everyone's life now, right?
Yes. to
Like
a
every
certain
single
degree.
person.
To
Yeah,
a
yeah,
certain
exactly.
degree.
Yeah.
Old people, they've got grandkids, or they
Mm-hmm.
still watch cable TV and they get an advert
Yeah,
for
exactly.
the new
Exactly.
Call of Duty.
Yeah. And they'll ask, what's
Something.
that? Yeah, no doubt.
Something.
And hell, even lots of people are just playing mobile games, be it the older generation, be it Candy
Yes,
Crush.
it's on the phones. It's on your
yeah, exactly.
phones.
So yeah, it's very hard for me a lot of the time to realize that gaming culture is now stuck in our culture around the world. Be it if you're in your 50s, 60s, 30s, 20s, teens, everyone is either playing games, has played games, or knows about games you're talking about. That's crazy.
Want to go a step. I even want to go a step further. I want to say that with video games having been influenced by art, film, music, literature, I think we might get close to a point where video games might be one of those influences as well.
Oh, I agree. I think that's it.
Right? Like something like Expedition 33 could turn into an influence for a literature piece, a composition,
yes.
not a direct continuation of the story like it was made so we can have an Expedition
things, right?
32 or whatever.
Yeah.
But real influenced by the art behind this game.
Yeah, I agree. If this every time we talk about it, I just think this has to win Game of the Year. I can't think of something would have to something to top this. It would just be an extraordinary year if we got two bangers out.
I like to think about it like the ones that usually win isn't the one doing the best, but it's the one that moves the industry.
Yes. I hope that's true. Yeah,
this is busy moving the industry.
Agreed. This, again, like you said, this is taking that spotlight from AAA games and stuff like that and showing, look, we want this. This is what we want.
Yes.
Make some of these if you want our money. And right?
All over the place. Even last year, Astrobot, whether a lot of people like it or not, Astrobot moved the industry.
Agreed.
Breath of the Wild moved the industry. Elden Ring moved the industry.
Yeah, agreed. No doubt. That's why we've got so many Souls-likes now, by all accounts. But it's these big movements, and like I said, it is fun to see it and be part of it. And this has been a long time since I've been this excited about the gaming industry again. Because, like you said, we've got so much shovelware and so many things come out. This game is just great.
Yes, it's even turning AAA games into shovelware. Although I think AAA games are doing that themselves these days.
That's very true. Okay. Anything else visual? Because I know Mr. Audio Man over there must be chafing at the bit to talk about the audio in this game, right?
The audio for this game, it's up to such a degree that I almost have no words to describe.
Wow, that's some audio, damn.
Okay, you know what? I studied music for a lot of years.
Yeah.
I went to university to study classical music, and did so for 6 years. And in those years of study, every now and then I'd find a composition that I truly could not put into words the emotions it made me feel.
Yeah.
That is the peak of art.
Yeah,
right?
Agreed, yeah, of course.
And this is making me feel the exact same emotions I did then. I could not describe what I felt then and now. I had no words to describe what I was feeling, but feelings were felt. Feelings are felt. Right? A lot of people...
Due to the soundtrack, right?
Exactly. Due to the soundtrack specifically in this case. There's never been a real definition for what is art, although most people can agree on the one that art is something created by one human to evoke emotion in another through
that's
a
the
medium.
one I've heard a lot. Yeah.
Right? This is that. The game can be classified as art, and I'm definitely doing that, but the music, the soundtrack, the compositions created in this game absolutely is art. We spoke before this recording about the song Lumière.
Yeah, no doubt. So catchy. But so spot on for the beginning of the game, particularly.
And there's another one.
Yeah.
I think it's called. Oh, I can't even remember what it's called. Alicia.
That's right. I think that I remember. Actually, I was looking through the Spotify playlist just the other day. Yeah, there is one called Alicia.
That one. I think it's the song that plays in the main menu.
Yeah, that's right. I know the one you're on about.
It's incredible. There's a live performance on YouTube posted by Sandful Interactive.
Yes, that's right.
Everyone to go watch that music video. All it is just this one professional operatic singer, a string sextet, consisting of 2 violins, a viola, a contrabass, and 2 cellos, and the composer of Expedition 33 on the piano. That's all it is, and it's one of the most heartfelt songs I've heard.
It's like it's haunting, right? It's
very much.
Again, I was looking at the composer. I'm gonna probably say his name again. Lorien Testad. I don't know how you say his name, and I can't find anything else about him. This looks like this is one of those things again, where they just had this passionate guy, which they've obviously all met, and then he just got given a decent budget. He got given a decent orchestra, and then the lady singer who is also a very good singer. And it just came together again, and it's just you've said this before: the sound engineering and just sound in games being underrated.
It's so underrated. It makes me I get frustrated with the newer generation who mutes the game so they can listen to their favorite streamer babble about YouTube nonsense.
And stuff like that. Yeah, that's right.
I despise what's happening because the sound, the music, the voice acting, what's coming out of the speakers when you play the game is just as important as everything else.
What I love about it as well is that it's in French. You know how they don't make it English because everybody speaks English, and of course let's make it more inviting to other. But it's actually all sung in French still.
Great
and
fantastic. This is just French to the core.
And I love that you go watch everybody must have seen people talk about it, and you go look at these other YouTubers and influencers, and you'll see them. They normally play Valorant, or they normally play CS:GO, or they play Elden Ring and stuff like that. But they all agree, like the soundtrack on this game, they're all moved by it. Even if it's not their genre of music, it's not their language, of course. But it's one of those times that everybody feels that somehow this soundtrack is just perfect for the game, and that just means it's great. And these people are normally like, totally Charlie agree. He's a heavy rock, he's a heavy metal fan. His main music he likes, but this soundtrack, it just makes the game so much better, and it's just so.
It truly does. It truly does. And it takes me back to my previous point. It's because what it makes people feel.
Yes, agreed.
Whether you're into whatever type of music, it doesn't matter if you speak French or not.
Yeah.
This makes you feel certain emotions.
Yeah.
And that is global.
Just remarkable.
I'm not finding the right word, but that transcends language.
Oh, agreed entirely. It's like a lot of people say Elden Ring boss fights, right? Everyone's got a favorite Elden Ring boss fight, and the first emotion they get for that feeling is actually hearing the song start playing, because before you go up to the fight, you've still got a few steps. You gotta get into sync with it. But that first music that plays is the emotion that they feel in regards to that fight, be it Renala and all the other ones. It's the music which people go, oh yes, now this has got me amped for the fight, right? Because they recognize that emotion they felt on that fight, or that being able to accomplish that fight with that song in the background is just like it's art. It's a magic in its own right in regards to gaming and TV and media.
It's masterful what
it is.
The composer managed to accomplish.
Should we talk about the voice actors? Because this was also kind of shocking.
Before we do, I just want to finish.
Sorry.
So I mentioned earlier that there was a string sextet, piano, and a vocalist. That was just for a couple of pieces. Another thing that I think a lot of people gloss over is the amount of different types of music
Okay.
in this game. There are so many pieces using so many different instruments. There's a boss fight earlier in the game when it's just Gustav and Lune,
Yeah.
and it's a trance piece.
Oh yes, I do. I think yes, I do remember that the whole tempo changed and the whole the whole.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
No, I do.
Yes.
I do remember thinking.
And there's a
feeling
big
that.
old synth bass,
Yeah.
just in the background going off. And like 30 seconds earlier, we were listening to this small string symphonic orchestra.
Yeah, just a haunting melody playing whilst you do it, and then it
Yes,
changes.
and now all of a sudden I'm in the club.
Yeah. No. Again, one of those weird moments for me is in Half-Life 2 when that happens, when you're escaping and then all of a sudden the high octane music plays in the train yard.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's the juxtaposition of you're in a mystery, it's all dramatic and sad, and then like you said, it kicks in.
And then all of a sudden,
What's going on, right?
complete tonal shift.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the visuals didn't change, just the music. The power the soundtrack has, it's incredible.
It just shows how I can't think of the other games I've played where that same thing happens, right? We just came off
There must
playing
be. There
what did
must
Oblivion and stuff like that, which has got a good soundtrack, but I can't remember it. I can't remember the soundtrack to this game has been stuck in my head for the last week or so, continuously whilst shopping and driving and stuff like that. It's just stuck in there. Which is again this Lorient Estad. I've never even heard of him. He must be getting so much work now, by all accounts.
I hope so. I truly hope so. Because that's talent.
Yeah, no doubt. It's great, and he's quite young.
Talent.
He's a young man, right? He's not.
I know he's in the music video for the Alicia.
It's crazy, like
he's a young man.
How talented people are. I know it's a weird thing to say, so much talent there, and it's so exciting to again see. The next game they're going to make is going to have to be under the magnifying glass so much because they've just done too well on this one.
So you wanted to talk about the voice actors.
Again, the budget on this must have been decent because I was genuinely shocked by the voice actors. Gustav is Charlie Cox. Do you know the name?
Isn't that Daredevil?
Yeah, the actor who played in the Netflix Daredevil series.
Yeah.
Which I thought was great. I love Daredevil. I like the guy. Mael is Jennifer English, which is kind of the coolest name for an English voice actor I've ever seen. But and you've not played Baldur's Gate yet, have you?
I've not.
Have you heard, Shadowheart? You must have seen all the pictures and.
I've seen Shadowheart and her bangs. Yes.
Yes, she is the same voice actor for Shadowheart, and she also played Latenna in Elden Ring. I don't know Elden Ring, so I don't know who that is.
Latenna? Okay, it's been a while.
Right, yeah, by all accounts.
Who is she in Expedition 33?
Oh, she's Mael. She's the young, the very English
Mael?
young.
I thought Jennifer
girl.
English was Mael.
That's what I said, didn't I? Jennifer English is Mael.
So Jennifer English is Shadowheart as well.
Yes, correct. Yes, she's
Okay.
Shadowheart.
I'm with you.
Okay. And later on, I'm not allowed to say the character because it might give away, but Andy Serkis is the voice actor for the big bad, by all accounts, in this game.
Legendary actor.
Which, again, you may know him as Gollum, you may know him as Caesar from Planet of the Apes. He also played King Kong in Kong, the King Kong movie. I didn't know that. Yeah, he did the movements for Kong in King Kong. I didn't know that.
Wow. And he was he was Claw in the MCU.
Oh, that's the guy, wasn't he a South African?
Yes, the South African mining man.
Yeah, the smuggling bad guy, right? I can't remember.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. I do remember that. And again, another Verso, later on comes the story, it's Ben Starr, i.e. Clive from Final Fantasy 16. Another great voice actor. Oh, definitely. It's crazy how, again, this talent is, I presume, quite expensive. I don't know, but I presume
of course.
That's quite a star-studded
I don't think Ben Starr's cheap after being Clive Rossfield.
Exactly. And Shadowheart must be... Andy Serkis is definitely not
right.
cheap.
And Daredevil, Andy Serkis, none of them can be cheap.
The budget on this game had to be pretty large. I'm glad it's a great game, but I can't imagine you sign this type of voice acting talent up for a small amount of money. But they're very good at what they do, and the voice acting in this is great.
You know what? I agree, but the budget is the word I'm looking for relative? Because there are games that have $200 million investments.
Oh, yes, yeah, ridiculous.
There are certain games called Concord with $400 million budgets.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's still crazy to me.
So compared to those games, Expedition 33's budget is very, very small.
Oh, tiny. No, agreed. In theory, I don't even know. I'd love to see which money goes where, like a pie chart to see what costs the most and stuff like that. Because, agreed, that Concord's budget was insane. So I just, now you've mentioned it, I just can't get over that.
No, that is something else. That, Sony completely dropped the ball.
It's crazy. It's almost its own achievement. It's remarkable.
I keep thinking that with these inflated and bloated, unrealistic budgets, half of that is marketing.
Yeah,
that has to be the answer. Half of that goes to marketing to try and convince everyone that this is the next big thing. And then the other half kind of gets divvied up between the teams that actually need to make the game.
Yeah, I do agree, but there was a nice counter to that just the other day with the Oblivion Shadow Drop, which had very little marketing, kind of like underground, is it real, is it not real type aspect to it.
That had zero marketing.
Yeah, and that's turned out to be great. It's selling in very large amounts, and like they said, it's they say from a Bethesda point of view, it was such a great idea because of their history of like letting down fans a lot. And then releasing a fan favorite for like a decent price and out of nowhere without shoving it down your face. Yeah. People are actually saying it's a very good marketing strategy. It was a very clever thing to do.
I've even heard people say that this Oblivion remaster is so good, it reminded players of what Bethesda used to be.
Yes, agreed. I used to love the name Bethesda, no doubt. Whenever a Bethesda game came out, it already had me,
This was Oblivion, Skyrim, and some people might argue, but I'd put Fallout 4 in that basket as well.
I enjoyed Fallout 4. I don't know why that gets so much hate, that game. I get it gets kind of long-winded at times. And what was that one they released, the weird vampire one that just didn't do well?
What?
Bethesda, they released a vampire game.
They did?
Yeah. Granted, I'm not good at this. I might be going mad.
What vampire game?
Not Redfall, right? I never.
No, that's Arcane.
No, what's it? Okay, maybe I'm going mad. Was that Arcane? I swear they released a game that was crap recently. Unless I'm going insane, which is it's kind of part of who I am.
It might be Redfall. I think it was published by Bethesda, but it was made by.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah, it was published by Bethesda, but made by Arcane, the same people who made Deathloop and Prey.
Well, yeah, Deathloop wasn't too bad. Prey was okay. But anyway, sorry, weird tangent. Anything else audio you want to talk about?
No, just some of those sound effects are exceptionally well done or incredibly well engineered. But that's it. Let's go to gameplay.
Gameplay. This is a small section, right? Well, again, it's one of those... People always said that in regards to turn-based strategy, lots of people get put off, right? Because, who wants to do turn-based? There's no skill in regards to turn-based. You just wait and attack, and then you wait to be attacked again, right? Lots of people have that perspective of turn-based games.
Because they were true. Because those perspectives were correct up until now.
Yes, because the games with turn-based was more like chess, right? It was a case of planning your moves, working accordingly.
You need to strategize, think about your moves, and think 2, 3, 10 moves ahead.
And then this game, I wouldn't say revolutionized, because I do say a lot of it is from Lost Odyssey. They did do kind of a lot of the stuff. But this game uses a lot of quick time events in regards to combat, right?
Yes, that's right. By making you dodge or parry or jump
Yeah, and making those windows really quite small for you to do them. At least it feels like for me. I don't know, maybe I'm just bad at these things. Did you
No.
find the parrying difficult to pull off at all?
Of course, the
good.
parry
So it
was
isn't
difficult.
just me.
I
'Cause
mean, no.
ca-
If the parries were easy, there'd be no challenge.
Exactly.
But if
And-
you manage to land a parry,
Yeah,
you get that little dopamine rush.
exactly. People are saying
So-
it's the kind of same dopamine rush you got from Dark Souls games in regards to doing a parry on that or getting the iframes just at the right moment
Yeah.
to pull off your attack.
It,
Do you agree?
That is
That's a bit steep for you, is it? It's
slightly.
Ooh.
It's the gameplay is completely different.
Yeah.
Dark Souls would be slow and meticulous, and you'd wait for your window. This is just reflexes.
So more akin to Sekiro. Wasn't Sekiro fundamentally reflex-based?
Yes. More akin to Sekiro than Dark Souls.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
more accurate.
But like
It's
I think
more
that
accurate.
this is just it is your normal turn-based. It's a lot more complicated. It is kind of a grueling fighting system. I found like the first the enemies you fight that was super easy until then you get later on, and then you actually start getting into the nitty-gritty because the attacks aren't easily memorized or timed, are they? It's always
No,
like slow,
no.
slow, fast, slow, or slow, 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 fast.
Something like that, and it's different so often.
Yeah, and it's strange. Did you notice that the attacks are called gradient attacks, gradient counters, and then gradient skills? Which again is an art term in regards to adding gradient from light to dark and different colors.
Of course it is.
Everything
Of
again
course
is
it
embossed in just
Of course it is.
painting. Everything is painting. There's a beautiful underlying painting aspect of it. But like you said, that feeling when you're in a boss fight and you're down to one more person and you know you've got no more heals, you know you've got nothing else to do, so you might as well just parry if you can. And then when you pull that off, that is a very special feeling. Even if you
Yes.
die next, you still feel proud of yourself because you managed to time it. And
I almost managed this. I was in a boss fight,
yeah,
and Gustav, Lune, and CL fell.
yeah, okay, yeah.
And then
happens.
it asks you, do you want to send
Yeah,
out
that's
the
right, that's
reserve
right.
team?
Yeah.
And at that moment, my reserve team consisted of just Mael.
Yeah, and I love how when it does your reserve team and it says the last.
The last 16-year-old.
Yeah, just to really put that pressure on you, just so you know that this is, you lose, you're dead,
Yeah.
so to speak.
But when I sent out Mael, somehow I managed to land every parry.
Wow, that's a good feeling right there. Like
That is some dopamine.
that's a dope. I mean, right?
Yep. It's quite incredible when that happens, and when a game can allow for that to happen.
Yes,
with just
exactly.
its regular systems. You've got some good gameplay there. That's a great gameplay loop.
And it doesn't play to that like old JRPG thing where you have a white mage, a black mage, a warrior type aspect to the fights, right? Because each one of the characters you unlock I found it really kind of special and complex fighting style.
Yes.
Be it is it Lune or Luna? I don't remember.
Lune.
Where she gets the elemental attacks, the black mage, so to speak, and then
stains.
she gets stains, in which, depending on which element she used before, can boost the following attack in regards to if you got like a blue stain and a red stain.
Yes.
You can then use the green stain. And then Mael being the fencer.
But she switches between 4 or 5 different elements.
Yeah, and it's so much more complex. And
It is. It
again,
really
for all
is.
those people like yourself who love to plan your fights out, right? Like that this is an ice demon, so you set up your fire. But the complexity is setting up your moves 5 moves ahead, right? You want her to use ice and then fire, so she can use this one and then gain
That's it.
more stain for that one, so that
Yes.
you can pull. And that's just one of the characters. The other one's a fencer with the ability to go in defense mode, like an attack, and then full attack in regards to fencing.
Yes.
And go on.
Another one uses tarot cards.
which I'm still yet to fully understand.
Ooh.
It's such a, you have to build dark and light, and then the more tarot cards you have built.
Yes, you've got sun
pieces
cards and moon cards, and when you've got enough of both, you you start using twilight cards.
Yeah, and it's so complex.
consistently managed. I clicked with CL. Can I just say, I clicked with CL. I'm consistently getting 9999 damage on the enemies with CL.
You really did click with CL. Damn. I've done that once or twice, but powerful. She's obviously is she your main then? Because I'm good stuff.
No.
My main man's good stuff.
Oh yeah, well I mean with his big ol' arm conducting lightning overcharging.
Yeah, and again, it's got that same. Sorry, just reminded me. The same thing from Dark Souls and stuff is the weapon scaling, right? Because I'm not used to that, and the weapons scale depending on your playstyle for each character too.
Oh,
which again just opens up so much different builds and stuff you can go with, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. If you get a new weapon level 10 and it scales with your luck and agility, right. If you can level your luck and agility, you're even stronger.
And it makes it so much easier. Like you get these, I can't remember what they're called, but you can recoats. I think again another painting terminology.
Yes.
In regards to, you can just respec your characters. Again, you can just do it the way you want to. In a JRPG, it's kind of not really that common, right? You've always got the monk, you've got the white warrior, you've got the hero, the tank, stuff like that.
Yes.
In this game, you can actually build kinda whatever character you want per character. If you want Gustav to be a tank, sure. If you want him to be Helldis, you can make him be like a gambling. Your attacks do 50%, 100%, or 200%, and you can make somebody start off with a handicap, and then the longer they have the handicap in a battle, they get stronger later on. There is so much there compared to other turn-based or JRPG aspect type of games that just for people like yourself who like to make builds and change builds and mix it up, it's so in-depth that I find it kind of intimidating, but it is a lot of fun to do.
It is intimidating. It's quite intimidating when you've got let's say 15, 20 kind of skills to choose between. Sure, fine, okay, I can do that. But when you start reading each skill, there are numbers and systems and intricacies and requirements for each and every skill, and you realize how many different characters are there, and
I was worried.
They each play uniquely. They've got different ways of fighting, different. It's not just big fireball.
No, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's not just
big sword slash. Heavy attack.
Yeah. No, it is crazy complex.
It's not that.
It is. Again, it's that same turn-based chess, but with the quick-based reflexes and stuff for counters and attacks and jumping again and jumping at counters in regards to timing your things right.
These things, the parries, the dodging, the jumping, they make combat so much more engaging.
Yeah, no, you cannot look away from the screen or you'll die.
No. This is turn-based like you've never based your turns before.
Yeah, I was on a fight with a chroma bad guy, and I was there for an hour and a half, and I was just trying to dodge each of his attacks because I slowly learned the patterns, and I died so many times just at the last bit, and it's so frustrating. But again, that same rewarding aspect you get from Elden Ring when you win.
Do you try to dodge more often or parry more often?
It depends. I was up against a guy who would one-shot you. Doesn't matter what you did, right? So I was thinking, the parry, of course, is too risky. I'll dodge because you take no damage then, and it's a bigger window. And I prefer to do more damage over a long period of time than to do immediate damage now. Because this was a long fight. So it depends on the scenario. But
that's the smarter move.
But parrying is just so much more fun and badass when you do it. It's very hard not to do it whenever you want to, because it looks so cool and you feel so cool when you do it. And when you parry 3 hits in a row because it's a 3-hit attack, and then you come back. I don't know. It just got that fun feeling that games always give you when you pull something off cool.
Absolutely.
And of course, it's got the standard trope of JRPGs: an arena, lots of boss fights, lots of backtracking to find new areas to climb through, and a handful of side quests that you can do that help develop story and character development as well.
Yes,
which
you
is
get some
again, a lot of
nice
fun.
items, weapons, currency,
Yeah, that's right.
RPG things.
I have no idea what Lumina is for.
Lumina.
Yeah, you know when you can
You
go
didn't
back
use
and
them.
go up.
You get Lumina points.
Yeah, but what are they for?
Have you been switching out your pictos?
Yes, I have.
Okay,
Is it something to do with those?
Yes, each time you learn a new Lumina from these pictos, you can switch them out to learn other Luminas. And then you can, after you've learned them, apply to each character depending on how many Lumina points they have available.
Okay.
So as your character levels up, they get more and more Lumina points, meaning they can get more and more passives you unlock from pictos.
So I can equip those passives as well as the 3 other pictos?
Yes.
I did not know that. How have I not come across this yet? I didn't know this at all.
I mean, if you're 10 or 15 hours in, it's very common for your character to have 7 or 10 passives equipped.
Wow, I did not know this. I've just been like, well, I got 30, so I might as well split it up between everyone. I've been like, I don't know what these... Damn. Okay, so there's a complexity I didn't even know to it.
Yes.
And I did not know this. I've just been going, I got like 30 of them now. I'll split them up.
It's so, but I mean, isn't that just, doesn't that just goes to show you that we've become so used to games being extremely simplified that when a real RPG comes along, we're kind of we're kind of a little bit overwhelmed by all the things. Yeah,
we're predisposed to this simple track and this simple like leveling up system and skill tree and stuff like that, right?
Instead
of, I didn't even know that.
I can equip 3 passives. No, you can learn passives from 3 pictos, which you then apply with the Lumina points, upgrading with your character.
I kind of feel better now because I feel like I've been playing the game with a handicap, and I've been doing all right. I didn't know I've only had 3 pictos per person. I didn't know you could passively keep them as well.
Yeah, you're gonna need some Luminas equipped.
Okay, it's good to know. I won't just waste them willy-nilly now. Anything else about gameplay you want to talk about?
We've only spoken about combat, Dave.
That's true. It's very true. Sorry. Yeah,
we've only spoken about combat. This is an open world game. Nobody says that because it's the combat that's been so sweeping the conversation up.
That's true.
But this is an open world game. You can't access the entire world yet.
No.
But gradually you get to. Gradually you start to get access to new areas. You mentioned earlier when you get SKA, you can access other areas.
And he kind of powers up with different later on, right? In regards to
when you get
skills
more
you can develop and then traverse different lands and areas and stuff like that, right?
Yes. And I think this open world is so beautiful.
It is.
Oh,
again, it's.
I wish I had like a 4090 in my PC so I could just revel in what this world is supposed to look like.
Don't you ever want to go to them and say, how was this in your head? How was this all in your head? And then you put it there. Like, my head is just like
I constantly said that when I was playing Bloodborne.
How was this in people's heads? And they just translate it to the game, and you just go, "Whoa!" Like, I don't. Was this just sitting there dormant in your mind for such a long time, and then you just
not just that, but you were also able to translate this, on a computer.
Exactly, it's mind-boggling in its own way. And again, like you said, the open world, and I always fall back to Alice in Wonderland aspect of it because it's so. One area is bizarre, and then you go to another one, and it's just more bizarre, but in a different way. And then it's all set in kind of a Paris setting, which is in its own right kind of bizarre because it's all distorted and light and dark. And again, it's such imagination.
It's great. It's
everywhere.
It's interesting. Even the point of conversation we had before, the amount of literature and art influencing this game. Do you think Lewis Carroll was a real influence to this?
I think, again, something this bizarre it has to be. Like in regards to the the mystical and magical aspects to the world and stuff he's in. I always think everything must come from that. If not, that's just other things that have been inspired by Lewis Carroll and you just didn't know. Albeit, I'm trying to think at the top of my head. Jason and the Argonauts and stuff like that in regards to...
Okay, yes.
Travelling to the centre of the earth and finding new things. You know, they've all been inspired by one another, so later on, new pieces. But yeah, I play this game and I feel like I'm going down the rabbit hole. There's of course...
same.
Right,
damn, same. And it just goes deeper and deeper and further
exactly.
and gets crazier.
You're just following that white rabbit continuously. And
stuff
again,
and things are making less and less sense.
Yeah.
But it's very the hook is very great and it's very engaging.
And I haven't felt like that about a game for a long time. Personally.
I'm glad this came around. I'm very glad Expedition 33 came around.
Anything else gameplay wise?
No. Again, we can keep going for hours, but I think we should get moving.
Okay, performance wise.
So before we continue with performance, we decided we were going to do something different with this one. Instead of just playing it on the PS5, which would have been great. Yeah. Firstly, it's too expensive.
Yeah, and South Africa.
Secondly,
does not get
we're reviewing this on the PC.
Yeah.
And the only way I could review this on PC was if Dave lent me his old graphics card. I was playing this on the NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1660 Ti.
Which is quite an old card now, right?
It is an old card, you're right. And I was able to play this with enough frames, I don't know, 40 I think, on medium settings.
Yeah.
Which is enough for me to get to experience this game. I would love to play this on a high-end graphics card, 120 frames. That's just not possible right now.
But the cutscene scenes were still good, right? Like, in regards to quality and stuff.
That's what I'm getting at. The cutscenes are all rendered in engine, and they're all rendered real time. They're not pre-rendered. Mm-hmm. Games used to do that 15, 20 years ago, pre-rendered cutscenes. Yep. Not anymore. Because PCs and consoles are strong enough. The 1660, during gameplay, when it was warmed up, it was working fine. Mm-hmm. Cutscenes, it had a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I had some graphical bugs, but it all felt like once the GPU got going, it managed to deal with those bugs and the game went smoothly. So when I started the game and I played around with the graphical settings, Gustav was missing his head. His suit was grey. All the textures were missing. The balcony I was standing on disappeared.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. So
yes. And these are all graphical bugs, which I deduct some points, but I'm also not ignorant to the fact that this is just also an old GPU.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, sadly, it is what it is. It's that's still not cheap. That's but yeah, that is an old GPU.
But I'm also quite thankful because without this GPU, I would not be able to play this.
Everything's developing too quickly nowadays. You
have to
upgrade your PC every year.
What is this? Is this GPU 6 years old?
Yeah, something like that. I'd say I can't exactly remember. But
still managing to play a game released today.
I've gotten down performance, and it's not really. I didn't really correct it, but it's the only thing. When you go to your party menu, and you press. I use the PlayStation controller on my PC, and you press X on a character. Yeah. Sometimes you take him out the party. Or one of the buttons you press. You know how many times I had like a full roster of 3, and I was like, okay, cool, and then I go do a boss fight, and there's just one person, and I'm like. God damn it! I took them out the party. I'm
really?
Like, oh, all the time. All the time.
Happen once.
It was so annoying. I'm guessing it's because I had a controller, and I'm in a hurry. And I'm like, yeah, go. And I keep managing to take a party member out the party, and so it just leaves you with 1 or 2 members, and it's so annoying. But that's a me thing, a performance issue from my side. But I had to write it down because it kept.
I didn't do that even once.
It kept happening. It was so annoying. Okay, value for money then. What do you think?
So much value is here. There is so much. You always mention that with games that are very narrative heavy, they've got a story to tell. The issue with the value for money in those games is you play the game, nice, good one. You now know the story. It was a great journey, but the replay value is now diminished tenfold
I always say that.
Because it's not a new story.
Yeah.
Do you still feel like that with this game?
Oh, that's such a hard question. Part of me says yes, because I know when you finish this game, I'm going to know all the twists. You're going to watch that and say, oh, I know he backstabs you, or I'm going to watch that and say, oh, she dies later, right?
Yes.
There's nothing like the first time you feel that.
That's definite. That's true. I'm absolutely going to agree with you there. There's nothing like the first time.
Yeah.
But even though you know what's going to happen, would you still not play this game even just because it is
I would.
Such a good story?
Oh,
could we not just be so used to mediocre video gamey narratives?
Yes, you could be right. You could be right. We just become so used to it, and it's now what you do. You move on. Because you're right. I've played Final Fantasy VII, the PlayStation 1 version, like 20, 30 times in my life.
There you go.
And I know who Sephiroth is. I know what's going to happen every single time, but I still play it because it's a great time. And I agree. I think this does have a lot of that in it.
I hope
give
so
me a
as
few
well.
years, I'll forget, and then you jump back in, and you're just, again, Alice in Wonderland. You just jump down that hole, and you're just magically taken away to it. So
The
I agree.
word coming to mind is timeless.
Yes, yeah, exactly. This is one of those games you definitely go back to. Like you share, like for example, with your kids, the one you'll share with your kids later on when they're a bit older. Oh, you've got to play this game, and you've got to play this game, and this is one of those games you've got to play. Clair Obscur Expedition 33. And I agree that I am very stubborn in regards to once you know the story, it downgrades the value for money. But this one is special. Again, it's because of everything coming together in almost perfect unison that makes this one super special. All the people and all the just passion into it. It's hard not to want to play again or binge through all in one sitting. But another great point, it wasn't overly priced either. I know, it's crazy. It wasn't...
insane. A game doesn't need to be $80.
Yeah, I was so happy about that because it wasn't even too expensive on Steam. No. Because we all know Nintendo's increasing their games to $80 and $90, and
now
Microsoft
Xbox is
are right
doing the
behind
same.
them. And we all know PlayStation's going to do the same thing. There's no way they're going to go, oh no, we're going to keep our games cheap.
I don't want to think about it.
This, on Steam, brand new, and not the deluxe version, was like $35.
Great.
And that's just mind-boggling in today's game space. That's awesome.
Maybe they had a big release sale or discount.
Yes, yeah, you could be right.
I think this is generally just a $50 game, which is still...
Agreed.
Which is still great.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
the
agreed.
2 highest rated games, the 3 highest rated games of this year so far are all below $60.
Oh, that's true. That's interesting. Again, it kind of shows the opposite to what the market keeps telling you, right? Oh, games should be $80. Oh, there's so much content in there, but the highest selling games are all under.
Shut up. No, you just somehow need to pay 2,000 employees. That's your fault, not mine.
That's right. You've got an inflated workforce, right?
Exactly. A game like this can be made by 30 people and contractors.
Exactly.
You can do the same.
Yeah, and just over a long period of time, right? It doesn't have to be every year. You don't have to pump out generic crap all the time.
Yes.
And have you noticed that gaming reporting websites and stuff like that, they're all starting to close the doors and get laid off, and as well as game developers, because of that exact same thing. Because they've got too many employees and it's too bloated and it's not making enough money anymore. Thus the $80 price tag. But yeah, $35, brand new game, knocking it out of the park from France, which gives you, I don't know, I think there's like 35 to like 40 hours of gameplay, if it's just like normal gameplay, if you don't want to complete, which is great. That's like $1 an hour. It's such a good price. It's insane.
You really should. You should buy this. Support Sandfall Interactive.
Yes.
Yeah.
The value for your money is up there. Again, yes, you're right. I think now the story is, but it's a very fussy thing to say because most books, games, movies are going to have that aspect to it. I've still watched The Goonies 400 times. I've still watched Lord of the Rings multiple times. There is
and here's another thing.
There. Yeah, go on.
Here's another thing. This game, you mentioned earlier, you can backtrack. There are secrets scattered all over this world map, all over every single level.
Yeah, did you
and
try
harder battles, the chroma versions.
Yeah, did you try taking on the gestural boss?
You
you can take him on.
I do. Ooh, what's her name? Golbra?
I don't know.
I don't know. I forgot. But yes, I saw you could take her on.
Yes, swiftly kicks your ass.
I did not do it.
She kicks your ass. And again, you can see that's a game that's a fight you come back later. And he even tells you he's going to kick your ass. And you think to yourself, but maybe I can't.
Far away from that fight. Thank you very much.
But that's great. Like you said, you get to go back and take on other bad guys.
Yes. And there's more than just a truly superb story.
Yeah, exactly.
There's gameplay that you can come back to.
Yeah, there's meat and potatoes to it. No doubt.
It really is. The value for money is excellent in this case.
It's a rarity. I know we've been talking about it a lot. This game is such a rarity, and the idea that it came out of nowhere is just so magical as well. Like, it wasn't super hyped. It wasn't like, you've got to play this. It came out of nowhere and just blew expectations out the water. Love it. I love those types of stories. Gets you re-inspired and re-amped for the gaming community and the atmosphere and stuff like that. It's great.
Dave, the time has come.
Yeah.
For us to reveal what we scored Clair Obscur Expedition 33.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not really much of a shock to anyone listening.
No.
We scored it on F for French.
Our scores for Clair Obscur Expedition 33 have been living a peaceful life in Lumiere.
Yeah.
Up until the one fateful day when all of our scores took a stroll to the dock for their gommage.
The gommage, yeah.
The hour beckons, the Paintress paints all the scores, age, I guess, on the monolith, and they all get snapped away. That's except for one fateful score. And that score, that letter grade rating, is A-. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
incredible.
It must have been so close to an A in regards to our chart, right? Because we scored this pretty perfectly. I'm surprised the minus is there.
We did.
To be honest with you.
We did.
And again, we do work on the assumption there is no such thing as a perfect game. So you're never going to
There is no such thing as the perfect game.
No,
this, God of War Ragnarok, and Chrono Trigger were the only ones that kind of came close.
Yes.
I think what kept this from getting an A would be the clunky platforming, which wasn't
the jumping
good.
And stuff. Yeah, it's true.
Yes, and a couple of my performance issues.
Yeah. But apart from that, like I said, this type of score, this kind of price, this kind of everything. If you're not playing it yet,
exceptional. A- is game of the year material.
Oh, and they're releasing DLC, and guess what? It's free. Did you know that?
What?
They're working on DLC for the game, and it's going to be free for people who purchase the game. Yep. They were talking about it the other day. They've already got DLC already planned and half done. I don't know if it's half, 3/4 done, but they are going to do DLC for it, and it's going to be free for everyone who purchases.
That's incredible.
That's it's literally a gaming company that actually seems to care. It's crazy. It's like a pink elephant or whatever. It's so insanely rare.
This was what Sven Vinke said in his Game Awards speech at the end of last year.
Yes, that's right. At the end of last year.
It's so incredibly easy to create a Game of the Year, although people just don't get it.
Yeah, and these people,
Sandfall Interactive, they get it.
It's so good. And like I said, I think everyone is looking for their next game. Whatever they announce next, Sandfall, it's going to be probably the most wishlist game on Steam almost instantly.
Could be.
It's
Could
just
be.
great. It's a good narrative all around. A game studio that likes its fans, fans who like to support the game studio, games being released that we all like, and building an economy, an atmosphere that
not
we
be
like out
surprised.
there. It's such a great story. I love it so much.
Yep.
It makes me smile.
Oh,
So yeah,
man.
A minus.
Oh.
Yeah.
This was I think this is our biggest episode yet.
Yeah, it's a chunky episode, but it's such a chunky game, so it deserves it.
Thank you, anyone still listening at this point in the
That's
episode.
true. That's true. You
For
made it to the
listening.
end. Yeah.
Be so kind, leave a review, subscribe on YouTube, all those cool things. Dave, where can we follow you?
Well, you can find me out and about, but because of my time in Luminaire and the wonderful world that is Clair Obscur Expedition 33, I have befriended those annoying mimes that you have to fight every once in a while.
Oh,
Ones that
not the mime.
build that massive invisible wall, and they're a real pain in the ass to fight because they've always kind of got a special mechanic to them. I befriended
Or
them.
an
I
invisible
know all of them
hammer.
now. So I will have your life besotted by a bunch of these mimes just to annoy you, get in your way, make your life just a little bit harder, and I guess mimic you, I guess is... And nobody wants that. These mimes
wants
are kind
that.
of annoying in real life, mimes
wants
are
that.
annoying in this game, and thus, yeah, don't follow me or you're going to be mimed. I'm
Do
guessing
you know
that's
what
it.
people do want?
What?
For you to tell us what we've got lined up for next week.
Well, next week, again, I don't know what it is with the world and trying to give me words I can't pronounce. We got an indie game next week, which is, again, our favourite part of the industry. We're going to be playing, oh god, how... Umurangi Generation?
Am
I saying that
that's
right?
how you say. I've no idea. I'm the wrong person to ask.
It's-
Umurangi generation.
It's a weird title. I don't know what that means offset, but again, I'm playing a fantasy game now. I like going around rabbit holes. Umurangi sounds interesting, and it's a generation of something. So fun to be had all around. I look forward to it.
Tune in next week if you want to hear us have a big old conversation about Umurangi generation.
Yeah, what that
We'll
even
see you
means.
then. Cheers.